had a good tea or whatever, some snacks, hopefully, that we can hold on for some time at least to talk about whatever stress we are going to face or could be anything. At times we might not be stressed, but the thought of not being stressed can make us stress. Because everybody else around me is getting stressed. I am one person who's not stressed. Am I normal or abnormal? Now, how much can I have? How much stress can I have? Is it right to have so much of stress, or there's always a confusion? Particularly when you reach towards the final year of exam. I know how difficult students have come and told us, ma'am, we are not able to handle our thesis work. We have to come to the department. You want us to do presentation. You want us to see patients. You don't understand how it is. If it is going to be that for the private medical college, imagine how students of government medical college will face. They don't even have time to recognize they're under stress, both of you, whether it's private or government. Most of us don't have the time to realize we are stressed because time flies away. When you hear the word exam, somewhere stress comes and sticks on us, like a butterfly comes and sits on us. Starts like a butterfly. Slowly it grows out of proportion, becomes a dinosaur and it swallows us at some point. When you want to handle this, it becomes bigger. Because the moment you knew you had to study, we thought it is only a butterfly, it is okay, it is beautiful, I can always do that. This is not, and I have 3 years of that. Not a big issue. So let me enjoy my PG period, or let me do this, let me do that. We have other ideas. Let's see how we are going to handle stress and what could happen if we have stress. I know it is definitely not pertaining to ENT, but if you see as an ENT physician, you will tell in the long run when your patient is going through a lot of allergic rhinitis, you will say probably it is not only the pollens or it is not only these things. Maybe you're stressed. Why don't you go and meet a psychologist? I have a very good friend of mine who's an ENT surgeon who would say, ma'am, I can't do anything. Probably you have to handle this case. So stress also is something where everybody in this fraternity, medical fraternity, can relate to and send them to us. Before I start, I wanted to start with a small story which I just read a few minutes ago. It's a Zen story, and somehow I'm fascinated by Zen stories because probably my attention span is short and they're very short stories. But it needs a lot of understanding also. One person who went to Buddha and asked, Sir, I want to become your disciple. When can I attain salvation? Once I become your disciple, how long will it take for me to attain salvation? Buddha says 10 years. Student says, okay, fine. But if I work with a lot of discipline, if I work with a lot of dedication, how long will it take? Buddha says 20 years. This man is perfect. Buddha hear me right and he says, my dear Buddha, I am telling you that I will put a lot of dedication. I work with discipline. I will practice all what you say day in and day out. How long will it take for me to reach salvation? Buddha says 30 years. This man is freaking with anger and says, my dear Buddha, I think you did not understand. Buddha says, no, my dear son, when you are focusing one eye on the goal and one eye on the path, it takes longer to reach. So decide where you want to focus, whether the path or the goal. So now, when you start, this is a small story, but when you relate it to you, the 10 years is like the first year. The 20 years is like the second year, and the 30 years is like the third year. So probably you need to focus more on the goal rather than the path. Your effort has to be there. The effort will take you towards your goal rather than seeing what type of effort I need to put, whether I can practice whatever is in the book or, I listen to my seniors or I listen to my HOD. You need to become somebody, what Buddha says, you need to focus on one, particularly your exam. From the perspective of how to become a proper ENT surgeon rather than just doing it for the exam point of view. It's not one day affair. I always tell my psychiatry students, don't think this exam is one day affair. Once you finish your exam, Every time you see a patient is your viva. Every time you write your diagnosis is an exam. You'll have to present your case to yourself. You'll have to discuss it with yourself. You don't have anybody who's going to say, oh, yeah, right, you're fine. The diagnosis is right and the treatment modality that you're planning is perfect. So you're going to be your masters. You're going to question yourself. You're going to examine yourself to give the right diagnosis. So exam does not stop on the final day. It goes on even after that. Precisely say only after that. Before we go into talking about the stress, we all know exam is nothing but a formal test that you take to show that you are qualified in the subject or you have the ability to practice the subject, whether you've mastered the subject to attain your MD or MS, whatever. To attain a qualification, we need to have an exam. There's a lot of fear when any word of exam, right from childhood, we always had that fear associated. If you were not fearing your exam, probably if you could recall your childhood days, your mother will say, you're not even scared. Tomorrow is your exam. How are you sitting and watching TV? Look at your neighbor, look at your aunt's son or daughter. They all are studying. What are you doing? When you come to your PG, probably you are more, understanding of it, or you're more responsible. You see your friends studying, and when you relax a bit, fear sticks to you. What am I doing? Am I taking it lightly, or am I not doing it properly? So this is an unpleasant feeling, which triggers a perception of danger. It could be a real danger or an imagined danger. It could be like you must have studied, but still the fear could be because somebody says, I completed everything 3 months back itself. And now I'm re-revising. That can churn your stomach. Oh my God, I didn't do that. He or she did that. What am I doing? Did I put in my heart and soul into it? So this fear slowly develops into examinophobia. We have had students who've been this, I don't mean our college alone. We've heard students who skipped writing exam, not only medical board exams. I'm talking of civil service. I've seen people, chartered accountants. I've seen last lap they come and they say, "Oh my God, I'm not going to take up this exam because I'm not well qualified for or properly prepared for it. I'm sure I might fumble. I'm definitely not confident that I can do it." So there is a lot of anxiety in them that they want to stay back and say, I'll take a break, which is also happening in the medical field where people feel that, the fear has slowly culminated into phobia. And running out of this is never going to help us. More so, this phobia we are seeing leads to a lot of suicide. If you could go back and see about the needs, there were youngsters who, even before attempting the exam, there was a girl who committed suicide writing, I'm sad. I'm sad. I don't think I can. I Because I'm scared about facing the exam. And a child writes the exam and says, I'm scared about the result. I'm sure I'm going to fail. So there is a perception that it could be imagined that I did not do well, I might not achieve. So they attempt suicide or they're completers. It is not only in the beginning level, even after PG we see. In IIT we see lots of suicide happening. In many top professional fields, we see suicide happening because there is a lot of phobia associated with exam, and other problems are definitely there. I'm not saying it is only because of exam they must have attempted suicide. That is also one area where they have attempted suicide. So we're just breaking this exam stress into four components for us to understand. These are the four areas which will definitely contribute to stress. One is your lifestyle. So we see people working or studying at one stroke without adequate rest, proper nutrition, proper balanced diet. They skip the morning meal because they come to the clinics. They just get up and they come faster. They skip the morning meal or they have a biscuit or a chocolate, mostly in the coat pocket, and they say, I'm done with that. Let me go back at 3 o'clock and eat, or they munch something in between. So the balanced food is not there. They take too many stimulants, maybe Coke or Red Bull before the exam, coffee, caffeine, too much of caffeine to keep them alert and awake. When I say lifestyle, major thing, particularly now during the pandemic, is probably lack of physical exercise. If we have the time and space, you can do something even in your room, sit-ups or whatever. But lifestyle where we are also seeing is lack of exercise as a major problem. Most importantly in lifestyle is poor time management. If you read through Shiv Khera's books, he says a successful person has 24 hours, so does an unsuccessful person. What is it that we are not doing is we are not managing time properly. Most of the time, we prefer to sleep or we prefer to enjoy in social media, watch movies, and then at the last hour we want to study, or we keep studying throughout where there's fatigue setting in that we don't know how to manage ourselves based on the time that we have. After lifestyle, we have poor study skills. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure why the sound is not clear.
Is there any close by, ma'am?
Is it fine now?
Yeah, is there any fan running close by? I think
Yeah, just give me a minute. I will switch off the fan.
because of that there's some disturbance.
Is it better now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Probably that shows ENT people know your ears are so sharp.
Actually, I noticed, ma'am, but I thought I didn't want to interrupt you in between.
No. Thank you, thank you. Whoever told that, I'm happy that he told me. But I'm just telling it on the lighter vein. Yeah, I'm in general surgery. Oh, somebody from general, obviously, people, the person from general surgery, I know you're highly observant. You can't miss out anything. So you can dissect anything. Great, great going. Thank you. The next that I wanted to talk about was poor study skills. Uh, where is it that we are lacking? We all know we are coming to a profession which needs lot of study material. Probably we are not consistent. You one day you might study for 7 hours, the next day you might forget to study, or there's a inconsistency or inefficiency in planning the content that you need to cover in a day. I have seen people who have unrealistic goals. They say we will go for hours together, which is not right. So the study skill needs to be properly maintained, and it needs to be consistent through the year, all the 3 years. There are people who right before the exam they start reading the book. They want to finish the entire book, provided they have this obsession, like I have to study this, I have to study that. There is a lot of confusion because revision is different, studying is different. You can't study just before the exam. You can just revise through. So the understanding of revision needs to be even more clear. Or as I told you, there's binge reading. One day I will study so much, the next day I might not do anything. Reading through and through the night and day, where you are not taking the content inside properly. It is just that you're reading a storybook. There is no vision across. How am I going to complete this program? You need to have a vision when you have a study skill. This hours I will study, this many hours I will study, this much I will finish. There needs to be proper allocation for the time that you do. More revision, more and more revision is required. But when you don't have time, when you don't manage time properly, you're definitely going to say you don't have time, and there is difficulty in revising the second time or the third time, and mostly skipping out on certain things because I did not understand that. That is also a poor study skill management technique that is causing a lot of anxiety or phobia when we have to face the exam. We have the most important factor that interests me, the psychological factors. There's a lot of irrational thinking or negative thinking. I am not successful. There is a lot of generalization. I did not write this test properly. Therefore, I'm not a good physician, or I'm not a good surgeon, or I'm not worth doing this. There's a lot of irrational thinking, which is definitely negative thinking too. And we have catastrophic prediction. I will fail. I'm sure I'll fail. I'm confident I cannot clear this. I'm confident I will not become a good doctor. There's a lot of catastrophic prediction that we do, fortune telling. I tell my students, probably if you become astrologers, you'll be great, man, because you are predicting even before you know what is there in the question paper. You can come and tell me that 2 days before the exam, ma'am, I'm severely stressed. I'm sure I'm going to fail. Is it that you didn't study? No, no, I studied. Then how do you know you're going to fail? I'm sure the exam is going to be tough. Who do you know who selected those questions, or who framed the questions, or who's the examiner? We don't know. But there's a lot of prediction happening, which is always catastrophic, which sets in a lot of anxiety in the person. So they have a lot of difficulty in recalling whatever they've studied. When you're calm, your mind is able to recall from all the cabinets in your brain. You're able to recall whatever you studied. But when there is a lot of anxiety, you tend to forget, or you tend to let go of whatever information that you've collected so long, or you've studied so long. Last is information that you get from your professors might not be applied by you when you follow the strategy for the exam, or even the course content which they say. You might not follow what they say. You might prefer a different textbook, or you might not understand the information they have given you, where you must have felt shy to go and ask them for clarification. When there is not proper content received from your professors, can also cause a lot of anxiety in you. But then, how come certain people are very cool and calm, and only certain people get very anxious about exam? Not all of them are anxious. If you ask me, it could be 70-30, or it could be 60-40. Then what is it that is happening in us? Probably somewhere we made a mistake in either the lifestyle, or in study skills, or in the psychological factors, or information, or basically I'm a personality where I get very anxious. I could be an anxious personality. I could be an obsessive personality. I could be an avoidant personality where I get a lot of anxiety when it comes to anything where I have to prove my point. And facing something which is an ordeal for me can take me really to the heights of stress. I just read a book named Habit of Winning. Get a chance, you read it. It's a very small book, but it's a very nice book. The first story says there's one lady like me walking through the road where there were a lot of boulders, and people were breaking them into small stones. Those big, big ones, they were breaking into stones. And it was an afternoon, and people were sweating. And this lady was happily walking, listening to music. She goes to one man who's toiling and sweating, and she says, "What are you doing?" He's really angry with her. He just wipes the sweat off his forehead and says, "Don't you see what I'm doing? I'm breaking stones. What do you think I'm doing? You think I'm enjoying here?" And he shouts. She smiles at him and still continues to walk, and asks the other person, "What are you doing?" He looks up at her, smiles, and says, "You know what? I'm making it ready to build a castle. I'm preparing to build a castle." So it is your attitude which matters. Both of them were doing the same work. Both of them were breaking stones. But it is your attitude, whether you're helping somebody to build a castle, or helping yourself build your future, or you're really irritated by the amount of work you're given, the workload, or the amount you need to study whatsoever. So if you need to win, you need to have a proper attitude to face the exam with courage, or face any difficulty for that matter. I'll tell you, during this pandemic, I'm sure all of us had one-on-one lectures. We were talking one-on-one. Everything was going in class one-on-one, but now everything is online. Initially, there was a lot of resistance from old people like me. We were not comfortable with this, because one person said Zoom, one person said Cisco, one person said Meet, one person said Air Meet. We had all this confusion. But now I think today morning when doctor said, "Ma'am, can we go for a dry run?" I said, "No problem, I know. But anyway, let me know, understand again, teach myself again that I know to handle this better. So we are having the attitude of accommodating ourselves to any situation, which is definitely going to help us win in anything that we take. Winning should become your habit. That is why the book was named The Habit of Winning. So if you change your attitude in anything that you do and do it with a smile, I'm confident you will not feel stressed. When you are not stressed, I'm sure you'll accumulate whatever you're studying. If you can study properly, I'm sure you can retrieve the information, because once you've revised, it is easy to retrieve the information. Having told you about exam, having told you about the factors, now the question could be, okay, come on, lady, what do I do? Enough of exam and stress. Now tell me what. We're all, quick fix people. We want some tips and, take home message, so that let me go and do that. I would start with decluttering, both your mind and the space. We have a lot of information, what to do here, what to do there, to talk to my parents, to talk to my spouse, to talk to my person who's my boyfriend or girlfriend, to talk to the patient, to talk to my professor, study. There's so much that is running in your mind. It is not only your mind, the physical space where you have is also cluttered. I'm sure your mothers must have told you when you were young, particularly if she's an OCPD like me. Keep your place clean. Only then you will remember what you have. Otherwise, everything is in a junk. But children will say, only if it is like that, I will remember where I have kept, what I have kept. Now you don't come and arrange. Once you leave, your mother has the habit of arranging your room. I'm sure people can relate to what I say. She would have changed the way you organize your books or your things. But if you were in hostel, you were so lucky. Nobody was there to interfere with you. You had your things your way. Nobody came and told you, keep it properly. But if it is in a cluttered place, study, be it your mind or be it your physical place, need to be decluttered. Remove all the disturbance from your mind when you sit to study. Tell yourself, I will take time to think about it. Yeah, I know I have to worry. I have the habit of telling my patients, you have to worry, fine, no issues. We will decide, because there's constant rumination about the same thing, they're not progressing forward. So when they come with this exam and a lot of worry with other issues, I tell them, okay, in a day we'll allot time, probably 7:30 to 7:45. It is called as worry time. I want you to sit and worry about whatever things you want. Believe me, they cannot think about. They find it so crazy. They say, ma'am, how can I condition myself to worry? That's what you've been doing. You've been conditioning yourself to think and think about what is gone or what is still in the future. You don't know what is going to happen in the future, but you're worrying about it. Instead, declutter all this, keep it aside. You can always take it later and put it on your head. No problem. It's not going to go anywhere. Declutter your mind and your space, because that improves your concentration. You're able to again revise properly. When you are studying, take a break and read a small storybook. Research says 68% of your stress is reduced when you start reading for pleasure. Even when you do this, even if you're doing your subject, if you do it for pleasure. Most of us, I know, must have taken your PG because you got this subject. Quite a few must have got it because you like this subject. People said, ma'am, I wanted surgery, but I got an ENT or I got OG. I wanted medicine, but I got this. I got psychiatry or dermatology. Again, the attitude of winning. It's whether you're breaking stones or building a castle. So do it with pleasure. Read it with pleasure. Even if it is your subject, read it with pleasure. Or take a break for 10 to 15 minutes and read a small storybook, which is lighter to you. And it reduces the tension of your muscles. It definitely lowers the, palpitation in you. So when you're calm, again, you're able to take in more. When you're taken more, you're able to bring out more also. So 10 minutes in a day, there's nothing wrong if you could read something lighter for pleasure. Remember, 68% of your stress is coming down. I know you're doctors. I don't have to tell you to reduce your sugar level, your caffeine or alcohol or smoking. I don't have to tell that. But whatever, for people, if you have this habit, please reduce your sugar level, because Once your sugar level is higher, there's a lot of, comorbidities also happening though. As you stress, your adrenal releases cortisol, which is definitely going to damage. It is a stress hormone. It is going to damage you, and it also affects your blood sugar level. So the more intake of sugar is definitely going to take you on a right. And physical health is very important also. You might not eat properly. As I told you, you might skip your breakfast. Please don't do that. Avoid sugary substances, sugary drinks, too much of Coke, too much of all these, aerated drinks. Rather focus on high protein diet. Have a good serving of fruit and vegetable. It could be one guava, it could be one banana. It is definitely going to help you. And of course, I don't have to tell you, fish can also help you in having a proper balanced diet. Once diet is there, once the place is clean, probably now it is time to manage your time. When you manage your time, it is 100% sure it reduces the stress when you face your exam. You will be able to accommodate yourself with good sleep, a proper rest whenever needed, a power nap as and when needed. You will not feel overwhelmed when you have a proper timetable, and you will be able to focus on your studies. When I say time management, I don't mean to say you have to learn at a stretch. If you are psychologists, we teach you on spaced and unspaced learning. I always tell friends, you need to remember a sandwich when you study. When I say sandwich, you all know it has a bread, it has some filling there, and again a bread. So you need to replace your study material as a sandwich. When you start with something difficult, so that you have the energy to accumulate or accommodate the subject which is difficult. It can be followed with something which is softer, lighter, because your brain could have become tired after some time. So when you read something lighter or something that you like, will make you comfortable again to feel relaxed and study. Then take a small break of 10 minutes and again start with a difficult subject. So when you alternate difficult and easy, it is better that you feel relaxed with whatever you're studying. At one go, if you're going to take a subject which is very difficult, you might not find it interesting. Or if you take a subject which is very tough for you, you'll feel overwhelmed very easily. You will throw it, and most of the time, you will never open it till the last day of exam. So try to accommodate yourself, your subject like a sandwich, so that you are not overwhelmed, or you don't feel fatigued, or you don't want to shun away the book. And of course, when I say spaced and unspaced learning, you go at one go, you're tired. So study for an hour, take a break of 10 minutes. It is like the cheese that you keep on the sandwich. You know how smooth it is? The 10 minutes of break where you can listen to a song or talk to somebody at home or call your friend. It should be 10 minutes. When I say 10 minutes in time management, we need to maintain that. Eighth minute, you must be back to your room to take your book. So then you can take a easy subject. Again, take a break of 10 minutes like the cheese. Start with a difficult subject. So when you study, remember the sandwich, which helps you to learn more in an easy manner. When you have a schedule of, definitely we'll want to have a schedule when we are studying. This schedule should have a mixture of all this. It's like the food you have on your plate. You need rice, you need curry, you need curd, you need some accompaniments, you need everything, you need papad, everything like that. Your subject should be mixed so that you have the feel of everything in the day that you're studying. Choose your time of studying. If you're a night bird, go ahead with that. If you're an early morning bird, fine. Don't try to copy somebody because they are doing that. If you're not comfortable with group studies, if you're more comfortable sitting in the library, sitting all alone, or sitting under your, the tree in your library, whatever it is, choose a space so that when you look at the place, you must be motivated to study. That's how your time should be managed, your space should be managed, and you will accommodate yourself in a place where it is properly ventilated, you find it airy, so that you don't get tired soon, that you're not able to focus on what you're studying. Whatever timetable you have, please put it in the form of a calendar and stick it right in front of you, so that you will know whether you're definitely maintaining. If you're able to do 75% of it, I'm sure you will not have exam stress. Try to make it 75%. Most of the time we might not have a realistic timetable when you do it the first time. You will say, study for 8 hours, I will do this, I will not touch my phone, whatever. Be very realistic. Let's be very realistic in your timetable. Stick it and see if you can follow it. Keep ticking as you do it. Then you will know Monday whether you have followed 75% to whatever. Rate yourself where you know whether the consistency is there or not, which will also help you to move forward in a better way. Never multitask. In fact, it is bad for your health. It gives a lot of blood pressure and causes stress. It reduces the quality of work. If you want to listen to music, close your book and listen to music. Please don't do both at a time. Don't plug yourself and don't do that. So whatever you do, try to focus yourself on that particular event that you're doing, which will help you focus more. Distractions come in the form of phone. We need to be smart about your smartphone. It's time that we become smart about our smartphones, because you have a camera on your smartphone, you have a radio, you have a scanner, you have everything. You have your book. What is it you don't have in your phone? I don't know, except, you have pictures in it. Anything you want, it is there in your phone. You can take it for anything. But using it smartly is very, very important. If you're going to study this hours, you can tell your friends, please don't call me at that juncture unless and until it is very important. Even otherwise, you can have an alternate phone with the ordinary Nokia 1100 type. If you get a call from the ward or from your professor, you can give that number and you can switch off your Android phone so that it doesn't cause distraction. Avoid notifications. You'll be tempted to see what is there. Now, most of the time we have that, we nomophobia, we call it as. I cannot be without the phone. I need to keep on texting somebody. I'm hearing something like that. We have the habit of texting somebody when somebody is talking also. Fubbing. It's called as fubbing. It's not snubbing. We're fubbing. We're talking. Somebody is talking to me and I'm texting, not even listening to the person. Or I'm hearing my phone ringing always, or some notification, and we want to see who it is. So try to avoid such stuff by keeping your cell phone either away when you're studying, particularly your Android phone, and unless and until you have to receive a call, or you will receive a call from the ward or from your seniors to come and attend the case or whatever. So try to have a time to check your social media. Not every time you find time to go to your Facebook or your Instagram account to check whether that person. I see off late people having the habit of checking the status of somebody. I didn't know what it was, and I learned it actually. I learned it from a patient of mine, because the husband came and told me, "Ma'am, do you know what her status is?" I said, "I don't know. You both are separate. I don't know. What status are you asking? Economic status or social status? What is it?" He said, "I'm talking of cell phone status." He told me it is WhatsApp status. I said, "I don't know, what is it?" They tempted to go and check on the WhatsApp status of what the other person has posted. So this will cause a lot of distraction. So at least 6 months before the exam, at least try to have a time, probably half an hour in a day alone, that you will check the social media, or twice in a day, probably in the morning and evening. Definitely, digital detoxing is very, very important. When you open your eyes and see your cell phone, and before you close your eyes, you see your cell phone, I can 100% vouch that you become addicted to your social media and gadgets. If that is the first and the last you see in a day. So you definitely need digital detoxification. If we have those digital detoxification cells in Niman's Bangalore. We try to keep them away from the gadgets. Now you can tell me, "Ma'am, we can't live without gadgets because everything is online." I understand, but even then, to be out of social media, you need to keep yourself away from social media so that it does not distract you from studying. Night, definitely keep your cell phone in silent or put it in the next room. Again, if you have a small cell phone, which is required for your hospital staff or even for the students, your juniors or your seniors or your professors to call you, you can have a small cell phone so that this Android phone which you charge in the room shall not beep, or all those blue light should not cause any distraction for you. Because you need a sound sleep. When you sleep, you definitely will understand that stress and sleep are double edged. They go hand in hand. They have a lot of relationship similarities in them. You're highly stressed, you might not sleep properly. If you don't sleep, you'll become stressed the next day. So they go hand in hand. Sleep and stress, you need to have sleep more, properly adequate sleep, so that when you get up, when you wake up, you don't feel dull, or when you don't feel irritable. Because most of the time you definitely get up without proper sleep, you feel irritable, you bombard your people, and it could be anybody who can be fried by you. So adequate sleep is important, for which you need to maintain some sleep hygiene. You need to sleep at the right time and wake up at the right time. Every day it should be this time that you go to bed and this time that you wake up. Even on a holiday, try to maintain that so that your body is acclimatized. The biological clock sets in, that whether you like it or not, you wake up at that time and you can do something productive. This sleep pattern, if you maintain regularly, it makes you highly productive. You will understand that when you have a proper sleep the next day, you really have really done the best of your job. For which uh, most of us off late we see there is sleep clinics. We have one in Ananagar in Chennai. We have a sleep clinic in Apollo because people have a lot of difficulty. The sleep clinic helps us to sleep, teaches sleep hygiene. For which one important point that we teach them is wind down before, we are all clocks. We wound up. You wind up, wind down before you go to sleep. Half an hour before you go to bed, avoid all the screen time. You can read something nice, probably you can listen to music, you can talk to your loved ones, for 10 to 15 minutes, but avoid screen time, which we see of late. A lot of impulsivity is growing because of screen time in children. The more they're exposed to the screen, the more we say they are impulsive. There's a lot of hyperactivity and there's a lot of impulsivity, and they're driven. Similarly, for adults also, when screen time is reduced at least half an hour before going to bed, they're able to have a proper sleep. A study done in the Harvard Business School in 1963, they said they were talking about goal. They went and asked the students to write about their goals. Only 3% of them wrote about the goals, because the rest said, I'm not too sure what happened. I have no goal. I want to take life the way it comes. So this group of researchers, after 25 years, they did a longitudinal study and they went to check about these people. And those who had written their goals were successful. So it's time that you start carving your goals. I don't believe in writing the goals. You need to carve your goal in your mind. You don't have to tell it to anybody. You can carve it in your mind. What is there? As I started, your goal should be there. The effort should take you to the goal. So carve it so that you're going to see it from a distance, that you can see what you want. It should be smart. Your goal should be smart. Once you've carved the goal, you must understand your goal needs to be very specific. You can't simply say, I will become the excellent person, or I will become so and so. Try to be specific. Have a measurable goal. Whether you're moving to, when I say measurable goal, you're not having a jar to measure that. You see whether you're taking proper, adequate steps to move towards your goal. Whether it is an achievable goal. In 3 years, I will finish my course is an achievable course. Not in a year, I'll finish and I'll become a surgeon, or I'll become the world's best doctor. No. Probably, whether it is achievable, little by little, your short-term goals will take you to the long-term goals. You must have a reasonable goal, and it should be time-bound. That is why we say it should be a smart goal. Again, carve your smart goal. It's not right. When you carve it, work towards commitment to reach the goal. As I say, effort should be committed effort that you take to reach the goal. Never wait to take the first step. Today is the day that you take the first step to frame a timetable, to have a schedule, Most of us will say, okay, tomorrow the first thing I'll do is that. Tomorrow never comes. Most of the time it never comes. Never procrastinate. I just saw a WhatsApp which says class on procrastination 6 to 12 postponed. And it's an ironical statement. So let us not postpone that. Whatever you plan, do it today. I don't know if you all know the story of a bamboo. Bamboo is something, when you plant a bamboo sapling or a small seed from a bamboo shoot, it does not grow that easily. If you do that, you can keep another sapling. It could be even a rose plant. It will start blooming. It will start growing. But whereas a bamboo shoot, once it starts growing, it will take long time. For the first 5 years, there is a lot of struggle underneath. You can only see a small shoot coming up. Nothing is seen. You might even have forgotten that you planted one there. You won't even know what is happening because nothing is seen. It is just a small shoot which is struggling to come out. In the next 90 days, you will see it towering up to 80 feet. The first 60 months of all the growth is invisible, which is below the surface. But only when it goes deeper down, it can tower up. So only when you go deeper into your subject, you can tower up as the best doctor. So if you want to grow like a bamboo, it is investment. I tell you, it is your investment of time. The first 5.5 years in your MBBS and then preparation through NEET. Not all of us might crack in the first and then get a PG seat. It might take a year or it might take 2 years. We have all this Trishur Hub, people go and study there, they join all these. We have a lot of places where they're teaching you to crack your All India, your NEET for your PG. And so again, it's another 2 years or a year. So 6.5 plus another 3 years, 9.5 to 10.5 years. You are like the bamboo. But all what you put in is like the struggle that is taking you down for a strong, strong root to fixate yourself down where you can tower high and high. So the more deeper you go, the more taller you go. So decide, as I said, sculpting yourself. When I say carving again, I'm saying you can sculpt yourself to become a bamboo by growing deeper and deeper, for which a lot of effort needs to be done. Your attitude is important. You have to find ways where you can keep your mind calm. You can do deep breathing exercises. You can learn mindfulness, mindful breathing, where it is nothing but just focus on your breathing. You can focus on your belly breathing, or you can do deep breathing. Do nothing in a day, 10 minutes, just be mindful of your breathing, where you're so relaxed and you're able to progress in your life. Focus on progress, not on over perfection. Most of us feel I'm not good for anything if I'm not perfect. It might not happen in the initial stages. Start to learn to progress. When you learn to progress, you will learn to perfect. So you will learn to achieve as you progress. To love yourself for what you are and who you are, rather being harsh to yourself. When you're harsh to yourself, imagine if the bamboo had been harsh, the shoot can shout at the root and say, how long you're taking? You're not even growing. Look at a rose shrub next to me. It is growing, it is flowering, it is beautiful. People are enjoying, you're not growing. That's not happening. So don't be harsh to yourself. Avoid perfectionism, but understand you will be able to achieve if you have a proper attitude and if you have the proper effort and the proper goal to meet your success. Celebrate your success. Don't feel shy to celebrate. It could be a small test. Celebrate your success. Accept for what you've done. Acknowledge what you've done and appreciate what you've done. Don't be harsh to yourself by saying, I should have done it better. I should have got better marks. Yes, you could have. Probably you need to work more for the next time. See what you can do for yourself. Never feel demotivated. Staying motivated is very, very important. There was one person who was working in the army called Carol Tekos. He was a person who was wanting to represent London in rifle shooting, but he was working for the army also. There was a war waged and he lost his right hand. And so pathetic, he lost his right hand. He was a rifle shooter. He was a right-hander. He didn't know what to do, but then he got discharged. He went away in hibernation. Nobody knew where he went. He went somewhere. People were searching for him. They didn't know where he went. Then they lost interest. They thought probably he must have found a menial job and settled somewhere in the outskirts. After 6 months, his friends are in the club where they have a rifle shooting competition. Carol comes there. So the friends are very happy. They cheer him. Thank God you've come to motivate us. You're here to cheer us. He smiles and says, I'm here to compete and not to cheer. They were shocked because he doesn't have his right hand, no prosthetic skill. So yeah, they were definitely astonished by what he said. He used his left hand and he won the medal. He said the 6 months I was practicing with my left hand because I knew if I did it here, people would they would demotivate me, which I did not want. That's why I went to the outskirts practicing in the forest. It is not that he just won the medal in the club. Twice he represented Olympics and he won the medal. So stay motivated in whatever you do, which is very, very important to reach what you want. Focus is important. You can do a lot of exams for yourself. When you stay focused, a lot of tests that you write, a lot of trying to do more cases, presenting more cases, you will be more focused on how to do it during the exam. Lot of exercises that you've done through your 3 years of course will definitely help you during the exam because you've been motivated, you've been focused, you know the goal, you have the path, you're putting your effort to reach your goal. So it will definitely work towards reaching your goal, for which hard work is definitely required, no doubt. But now smart work is even more required. To tell you a story, there were 10 rabbits running around. A Zen guru calls his disciple and says, catch the rabbits. This man went running behind the rabbits. It took half an hour, he couldn't catch even one. It took 1 hour. It took 1 day, he did not succeed. So the next day he went and asked Guru, I'm sorry, I was not able to do. What do I do? The Guru says, what did you do? I went chasing behind one rabbit, the other rabbit, and the other rabbit. Guru says, okay, tomorrow morning, I will do it for you. He just focused on one rabbit. He caught that rabbit by his ears, put it in his pocket, and then went for the next rabbit. So don't run for behind all the 10 rabbits. Focus. Your exam should be your focus. That will be the rabbit which you'll be running around, which you will catch one at a time. When you catch one, believe me, the next 9 is very easy because you know the technique of catching one. So find out what is your technique of studying. You could be an auditory learner. You could be a visual learner. You could be a kinesthetic learner. You could be a tactile learner, or you could be a combined learner. Whatever it is, find out what is your habit. Focus on. Yeah. You have to stay motivated through your day and never compare yourself with somebody. By comparing, you will definitely feel demotivated. Just focus on who you are, what you can do, how you can grow better. Now, when you focus on what you can do, you understand your limitations, you understand your strength and your weakness, and you'll be able to work on it. We all know about Winston Churchill. We know he was an excellent person who gave the best governance. But I don't know how many of you have read about Winston Churchill. When I was in school, we had a lesson. Yeah, sure. There was a question. I will come to that, Mr. Babu, definitely. Winston Churchill was one person who we all must take as an example because when he was given the answer paper for mathematics exam, he wrote his name. He had the pen where he will throw the ink over it. He will smudge the place. He will strike the first sum and he will make mistakes. He will take a paper and if a maths teacher had seen his paper, I'm sure she would have killed him. But there were people who did correct his paper. But then he found a senior who was having difficulty in English but was very good in mathematics. So he went and told, will you teach me mathematics and I will teach you English? We can learn in that way. See what guts he had to go to a senior to say, I will teach you English, because he was so confident about himself. He did that. And he became very successful. The next exam, the paper was not smudged. Winston Churchill goes to a school to talk about success. So there was a small child who asked him, Sir, can you tell me the secret of success? He said, it is very simple, my dear child. It is just 7 words. Never give up. Never, never give up. Yeah, that was what Winston Churchill told. And I also wish you all, never give up. Whatever happens. Maybe you must have failed one exam. That is okay. You can still take it up and be the best. Because most of us get demotivated if we don't pass in the first attempt. I know it is difficult. I know. But that doesn't say you will never achieve. Believe in yourself. Yes, there are questions on deep breathing or mindful breathing. Yes, I will teach that. And so I just wanted to conclude by saying, never, never give up. Believe in yourself. And thank you all for this patient listening. I will answer the questions in the chat box. Thank you for your patient listening. Doctors, thank you. I know, it is like in Tamil we say, I don't know how many of you know Tamil. Kollan Patrai Oosi Vikkirathu Mari. It's going to a place where there is an iron smith that I'm selling needles. Under the group of learned people, I was given the opportunity. Probably somebody believed in me and said I do a good job. I don't know if I've done a good job. I thank you all for your patient listening for the hour, and I hope it is useful. I have the questions. Can I take the questions, or you want to tell something, sir?
No, ma'am. Excellent speech, ma'am. I will definitely speak at the end of the lecture, ma'am. So you can take the questions, meanwhile.
Yeah.
So I will also open up the unmute option. So anyone who wishes to interact can interact with you directly, ma'am.
Sure. Yeah. Any specific advice or tips for the day before exam and the morning of the exam? Sleep well, eat well. Because the previous day you can't study anything. Your mind will be so, fogged. Whatever you take, you might not remember. So relax. Just go through the major, headings. Because you must have studied everything. I'm again saying that day before exam is not for studying. It is just for a glance. Sleep well. Sleep much earlier than the other days. Eat a proper meal. That doesn't mean go and take biryani and say, Madam only told eat well. Okay, I'll take biryani. No. Eat sufficient amount of food, sleep well, get up in the morning, have a good breakfast, go, and you will do it. Believe in yourself. Most importantly, because I'm a strong believer of God, pray and start your exam. I'm sure proper rest and good diet will make you take up the exam. Don't overeat or don't fast or don't go for caffeine or don't go for this Red Bull so that you can be awake through the night. Teaches breathing exercise. I hope I've answered your question, Mr. Babu. Yeah, coming for breathing exercise. Don't force yourself to learn breathing exercise. We have the third wave of psychotherapy, which says mindfulness. Whatever you do, our mind is full of something, but we are never mindful of what we do. Most of the time, you would have eaten something, you won't even know whether you had 2 rotis or 3 rotis, or you don't know whether your mother served rice and curd or whether you finished your food. Be mindful of what you do. Most of the time, we are striving to be the best or we are judging ourselves on what we do. Breathing is something we never judge ourselves. It is only the ENT physician will say, are you able to breathe through both the nose or one nose? Whether you have difficulty, you have sinus, that is the problem. Otherwise, we are not bothered about it. So sit in a very comfortable position. Your legs, your feet touching the ground, not your shoes, not your slippers. Your feet should touch the ground. For half a minute, just feel how it feels for you. Your feet touching the ground. We'll see for half a minute. Then just focus on your breathing. Just see where it is coming from, whether it is belly breathing, whether you're breathing from your chest, or whether it is just from here or just from the nostril. Don't have to correct yourself. Focus on your breathing. You will have all disturbing thoughts. That is when you will think, oh my God, my girlfriend asked me to text, or my professor told me this job, or my spouse told me this. Don't be harsh by saying, oh my God, what am I doing? No. As the moment you realize your mind is going like an autopilot, bring it back to your breathing. Just focus on your breathing. You can practice this wherever you want, even for 2 minutes, as and when you have time. Every 2 hours, you take a 2-minute break and just focus on your breathing. This will help you to relax and focus more on what you're studying. Mindful breathing is important rather than difficult techniques of breathing, is what we are finding is very successful of late to reduce stress, focus, and everything it helps you. I hope I've answered your question, doctor. And fine. I'm not able to understand PSM. I'm depressed because of this. What did you mean by PSM? I'm sorry, gentlemen. Could you tell me what PSM?
Community medicine.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so fine. Uh, if you are in your first year and if you understand everything, you'll become the HOD. It is better you don't understand in the first year. If you are in the second year, it is time that you will definitely understand. If you ask me the truth, most of us who finished did not understand till we finished. As you progress, you'll understand. You ask your seniors, you ask your professors, till we completed exam, we just studied for the exam. When you practice, you will start doing that. It is something that you need to work on your depression. It is, if you are depressed, you will not be able to understand. If you don't understand, you are depressed. So probably your pattern of studying needs to change. You need to take help from somebody. Ask your professors what would be the right book. Again, you can do a lot of presentation. Ask them whether you're doing it right or wrong. Discussing with your seniors will help you definitely on this line. But when you feel depressed, you're never going to understand. Even the slightest of the thing, whether tomorrow is Monday or Tuesday, we will not understand because we are depressed. So if you are depressed because of your studies, your depression is going to make you take you away from whatever you understand also. So it's not worth being depressed, because instead, studying more in a proper pattern of studying is more important. When you any subject, be it community medicine, be it clinical or non-clinical, you will understand when you learn it from others also. Nothing wrong, it will take time, but you will definitely understand. I make fantastic, realistic plan, but still I'm not able to stick to it for more than 3, 4 days. Then I lose self-belief. Yeah, that is when I acknowledge. When you acknowledge, accept. Yes, I'm able to do it only for 3, 4 days. It's okay. You've accepted that. That's the first sign. The second sign is acknowledge, I am doing this today, tomorrow. And the third thing is, when you appreciate yourself every day, you will definitely want to stick on to it. Human mind is so happy to get appreciation. After I finish, if you all say, ma'am, you did a great job, I feel excellent. Whether I did it or not, I like that appreciation. All of us like to be appreciated. We are striving for appreciation. That is why I said in mindfulness, we are not judging or striving for appreciation. Whereas when you appreciate yourself, you will be definitely reinforced to follow the next day the timetable that you do. You will not lose belief in yourself. Probably, if it is a realistic plan, review your plan again if it is really realistic. Otherwise, cut down on certain areas, start small and grow big. That is also one suggestion that I could give you, because I don't know your plan, but if it is realistic, also it is okay to cut down a little on it and then move forward about it. Appreciate yourself that at least 3, 4 days you've done, and you will do a great job. Yeah. Do I have any other question in the chat box?
Yes.
Yeah,
One.
I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody says I'm having an exam by the end of March. Just started studying, totally confused how to handle it. Yeah, I know it is difficult, because you started late, but it's better late than never. It is still better late than never. Probably it is a timetable that you need to do. Talk to your professors, they might help you on what is more important. I know ear, nose, and throat. We have so many lessons, head and neck, but getting scared is not going to help you move forward. Again, remember what Winston Churchill told. Probably you can even write it bold and put it. Never, never give up. Never, never, never give up. Only then you can succeed. Under this 150 topics in nose and 300 topics in ear and 200 in larynx and head and neck, I know you could have done it much ahead. but it's still not too late. For whatever reason, if you delayed studying, start today. Have a set of friends who can help you on whatever. Learning it from somebody rather than sitting and studying for yourself can be helpful. When you make people teach you, it'll be more easier for you to prepare. That is the way. Better late than never. Don't lose hope. You can still do that when you learn it from your seniors or your professors who can help you how to handle which topic, where you need to emphasize more, where you need to revise more, on which topic where just lighter reading will be important. But I'm sure, please don't take it for the last minute. Please don't take it for the last minute, because as I told you, it started as a butterfly and it will become a dinosaur. So start from day one. For practical exams, any specific advice for practicals preparation? See more number of cases. When your seniors said, see this case, or when your professor allot a case, don't say, oh my God, how many new cases should I say? Why should I review this case? The more you review, the more you have new cases, the more you present, you can do your practical viva at ease. That is a very important thing. Never stay back from taking up new cases. Whatever case comes to the department, go in for case discussion. Even if you've not seen the case, work with your seniors. If you're in the third year, take your juniors with you. If you're in the second year, accompany your junior and your senior, see the cases. Don't just stick to the case you're seeing, because you don't know what case you get for your exam. So you must have your hands on all the cases. You must be there for discussion and give your points as and when there is a case discussion in class. Your practical exams can go smoothly. Yes, I hope I've answered all the questions.
Yes. Ma'am, really fantastic talk, ma'am. You have
Thank
mixed both the talk and within a few stories, so that you kept every one of us engaged in, and it was a very good talk, ma'am. Few questions from my side. So
Please.
yeah, so some people prefer to study in the nights, and some people prefer to study in the morning hours, afternoon hours. So is there any, I mean, difference in this kind of strategy, ma'am, in terms of retention capacity?
Initially, we believed, but now we don't believe in that. It
Uh,
is the person's capacity to study as a night owl, do that. If you're more comfortable early morning, do that. I have a very good friend of mine who's a excellent practicing doctor. She will go home and sleep, and she will wake up by 10:30 and study till 4, sleep again, get up at 6, and come to school or college. That was how she did. So it depends on the individual. If you are a night owl, go by it. There's nothing, research nowadays have changed. It is depending on the person, whichever is comfortable for them. So not that you must get up early in the morning to study. If somebody had done that, if they've told me, no, I'm sure I would not have crossed 8 standard. I'm more a night owl person. So do what is comfortable for you. Yeah.
ma'am, and
Yeah.
like in from childhood, we usually listen to some kind of stories like IS aspirants. So they say we studied 18 hours, 20 hours, 20 hours a day. Is it practically possible? I never,
Definitely. Definitely no.
I never could study more than 8 hours a day.
That is why I said hard work is replaced by smart work.
Yeah,
So you need to be smart.
yeah.
You must use all your modalities when you're studying. I said visual, auditory, kinesthetic, tactile. Then whatever you do is enough. You don't have to study for hours and hours together.
Yes.
Smart work off late, smartphone, smart work. Is smart people.
So then, few more questions. How often can we take I mean, how at a stretch, how often should we study? I mean, how long?
It is again,
Mm.
at least if, because it is the medical fraternity, we at least need 6 to 8 hours. Otherwise, you might not finish, because there's so much of vast portions that you have to study. I'm talking of 6 to 8 hours as we progress towards the exam. At least 8 months before the exam, it should become 6 to 8 hours. First year, you can start with 3 to 4 hours, slowly progress to 5 hours in the second year, and in the third year, final year, you must make it 6 to 8 hours. Now, when I say first year 8 hours, by the time it's like, you're going on the relay race. First lap, you go slowly. Second lap, you go a bit faster. Final lap, you go faster. It's like that because when you start faster in the first lap, you go tired by the final lap. So start 4 hours, make it 5, then make it 6 to 8 hours. You'll be successful.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, any more questions? Yeah, ma'am. So that's the question.
Somebody has asked one question. I'm just sorry, I didn't see that.
Anything?
Anything can we do to build our concentration and be more productive? Mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is definitely mindful meditation can help you be relaxed and concentration. That is why I said every 2 hours you can take 2 minutes. Just focus on your breathing, doing nothing. Your mind is so relaxed. It has got nothing to do with religion, my dear friends. I again the disclaimer, I have no religion. So this is just focusing on your breathing. You breathe Hinduism, you breathe Christianity, you breathe Islam, you breathe Buddhism, you breathe Jainism. It is up to you. Just breathe. Just focus on your breathing, which will help you concentrate. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. In conclude, wouldn't want to waste much of your time, ma'am. So
Somebody wanted a video presentation to practice breathing. You just put in YouTube mindful breaths, you'll get a lot of presentation. Again, I'm telling you, if I have a presentation to do that, you will start comparing, you will strive to match to that. Breathing is something which you are doing and only you are doing, you're not comparing. When you have a presentation, your concentration is again distracted. You will strive to do what they are telling. But it's okay, you can go through that once, nothing wrong in that.
yes. As you rightly said during the talk that this digital addiction is one of the major problem with this today's generation. There's a lot of distraction during the exams. Maybe if possible, we can do a talk on how to detoxify this.
Sure, definitely.
Thank you, ma'am,
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
it's a very productive lecture, and we have a lot of your audience commenting that they had a very good learning experience today. So I thank you, ma'am, for the.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed being with you all. Thank you.
Yes,
Wishing you all the best. Whatever
yes,
field you are, I'm sure you'll be successful. Thank you,
yes.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.